In the film Rapid Fire, Brandon Lee plays Jake Lowe, an art student who ends up taking down the entire Chicago Mafia and rival Thai heroin racket almost single-handedly. I swear I'm not making this up. Kids, this is what bad 90s action movies were all about. Martial arts, gunplay, cultural insensitivity, a lethal weapon-ish cop noir saxophone score, which inexplicably turns over to a hairband power ballad during the sex scene. That was a hard left turn. A predictable plot and really bad dialogue, and despite all this, it's still better than Furious 7. After a brief bit of context for our hero's obligatory inner conflict, we catch up with him as he is furthering his artistic studies, presumably at the university level. And where do we catch up with him? In a figure drawing class, of course. If you only knew from movies, you would think this is the only art class students took. I just love how many art cliches, stereotypes, and inconsistencies there are in this scene, not the least of which involve the instructor, played by none other than Toby Ziegler himself, Richard Schiff, wearing a smock despite it being a life drawing class where everybody's using charcoal. You're not a doctor, bro. You don't need the lab coat. Everybody knows you're the teacher. There's also the fact that almost no one in the class is drawing the same composition. Some are drawing only facial features, some are drawing the entire body, and my personal favorite, this guy, who's only drawing tits. Something else that I love is that this is another in a long line of movies that perpetuates the egregious lie that all figure drawing models are attractive blonde white women. Where the scene just becomes precious to me, though, is when our adequately smocked instructor goes over to our hero and they engage in a brief, but extremely pretentious, unbearably condescending to actual artists bullshit philosophy versus technique type back and forth.
Jake, this is life study, okay? Just draw what you see. That's what I see.
Yeah, Jake, I get that you want to explore themes and shit, but that is not what a class like this is all about. Anywho, the model then becomes intrigued by our hero's answer. And why not? He is an extremely handsome man, even in that 90s v-neck and Chandler Bing vest. The class ends, the model throws on a robe and asks our hero if she can see what he drew. Of course he says yes, with a wink and a smile, and oh my god, are you ready for this? Yes, you're seeing that right. I guess it wasn't enough for the film to open showing his parents being killed in Tiananmen Square, or him being asked in Chinese to speak against the repressive communist Chinese government. Viewer, in case you hadn't noticed by now, this guy is Asian. And I mean really Asian. He is apparently so super duper Asian that he can't even look at a naked chick lying 10 feet in front of him without seeing a fucking dragon, too. He offers up no other explanation as to why the dragon is there, so the only conclusion that one can assume is that he simply exudes pure raw Asianness. Naturally, the model loves the drawing, and in a suave and flirty gesture he gives it to her. The drawing, that is. Giving a pretty girl one of your drawings when you're a young and horny art student is an extremely common thing. Trust me. But I couldn't help but think, and maybe this is just because I'm a bit older that my brain goes here, but I found myself wondering, don't you need to turn that assignment in, Jake? I mean, is this going to ding your GPA at all? But hey, I guess if you can fill an 18 by 24 inch sketch page with a fully rendered charcoal drawing in one class sitting, then you can just whip up another one lickety-split. He sees dragons everywhere, after all. Before exiting the classroom, the model asks our hero out on a date. Okay. The figure drawing model asking somebody out on a date after class is as improbable as a hot bartender asking a customer out in the middle of a really busy nightclub shift. But anyway, in the middle of this date, at whatever downtown industrial restaurant, art gallery, loft, fundraising headquarters they're at, a mob hit goes down. Talk about your bad luck, right? Now our hero has to save the girl. Want to know the best part? At no point in the movie do we ever learn her name. That's right. Not only is she a conniving, nameless flesh trophy, she's also a damsel in distress. And she is one of only 2 female speaking parts in the entire movie. How's that for making your feminist hackles sit up and turn red? Anywho, our hero then proceeds to kick everybody's ass, and the cops show up. Like diligent officers of the law, they arrest the only guy left standing. Because guilt or innocence in these matters is determined solely by whether or not you win the fight. They take him to an interrogation room and harass him, like you do when you're a cop in a bad action movie. As our hero is tuning them out, he's also doodling something on a sketch pad. Finally, somebody pushes him too far and they notice what he's been drawing this whole time, and it's a perfect likeness of the dude who pulled the trigger in the hit. Did he even see him at that angle? Was the whole reason you made him an art major so you could write this scene? Did he draw that in like 30 seconds? How long did it take him to draw that? Put a clock on that. The likeness is so good, in fact, that you'd think the cops would offer him a job. I mean, there's a reason that police sketches look like shit. It's because people don't have recall like that. Don't you wish all witness testimony was that reliable? The moves, the skills, the girl, what does it all add up to? It adds up to Jake Lowe, the most badass art major in film history. Or the only one.
Who knows? Maybe you'll think I'm sexier with my clothes on.
Don't bet on it.